FM. And just gone by was music from Konimo featuring Chichiku. On this one, they call this one, Friday Night, Pay Me. I don't know where he even got that one from. But listen, this is Ghana Month, full of surprises. Songs, tunes that you've never heard before are the ones that you'll be hearing. And Leo, yes, we're happy to be in the month of March. Yes, it's Ghana Month. But
before you go, this song,
the
Jack
Chichiku song,
Onimo,
okay, huh?
you know the message. So the woman asked for a penny, and then he gave her $1. And when she tells her to come home, no, style.
But Leo, honestly speaking, how is it that we sit on centuries of royalty?
Yeah.
We sit on Ghana's most powerful traditional institutions. We sit on culture. The world studies, the whole world, they study what in Ashanti region culture in textbooks.
In universities across the world.
They study it, it's in textbooks. Yet when people plan African vacations, Ashanti is not their first point of call. Isn't that disturbing? Very disturbing and very sad. So, like I was saying, we have the history, we have the heritage, we have the festivals, and that's not all. We have the stories, we have the pride. So what are we missing? Is it bold vision? Is it aggressive marketing? Is it infrastructure? Or maybe is it that we have never truly decided to compete globally? Because tourism is not decoration. Tourism is dollars. Tourism creates jobs. It gives you international relevance. So this morning, we want to talk about why Ashanti region is not getting the numbers when it comes to tourists. I was saying earlier that many a time when people think about tourism, they get to Ghana, they stay in Accra, sometimes they get to Cape Coast, and that's it for them. Tourists hardly come to the Ashanti region. They hardly come to Kumasi. Why? And we have a lot of fine actors and actresses from the United States of America who come to Ghana. They never come to Kumasi. Even during Christmas, Leo, the shows that are held, a lot of performances, the concerts, Bassa Rhymes, you name them.
Yeah.
They will come to Ghana, they will stay in Accra, they never come to Kumasi. The question is why? You've lived in Kumasi for some time now. You tell us why it is so. This is a Ghana Month conversation for today. 0540 448747. That's our WhatsApp number. Why do you think that all the tourists, they come to Ghana, stay in Accra, sometimes go to Cape Coast, but they never come to Kumasi? Why? Why do you think it is so? How do we change that narrative? Now, to help us with the conversation this morning, we have Mustafa Isa Zeba. Now, we call him MI. MI is a tour guide. MI is a cultural consultant and a cultural expert. He joins us on the phone lines for this very conversation this very morning. MI, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dave.
And I trust you're well.
Yeah, I'm very well. I trust you all too. And then
the Lord, as always, is my shepherd. And Emma, let me jump straight into the conversation. I mean, tourism is a very big cash cow. Yet when the diaspora community want authentic reconnection experience, they choose other destinations over Ashanti, despite our rich cultural heritage and legacy. Before I even ask why it is so, even in Ghana, when they get to Accra, they stay in Accra. And I've been saying all morning that sometimes they even go to Cape Coast, but they hardly come to Kumasi. So now let me ask why it is so.
Yes, thank you very much once again. Yes, it is so because there are a lot of factors playing at hand. And as you mentioned, tourism is a very huge economic potential for any community. And Ashanti region, we are lucky in a sense that on culture. And if you look at Ghana, our cultural system, Ashanti region is higher than the regions where. And that is what we have. And it's very rich, and everybody wants to see it. First of all, before a tourist goes to a place, that someone brings a tourist. The tourist gets to Ghana, definitely someone will lead him to that venue or that region or wherever he's going. First of all, we shouldn't forget the fact that any tourist that comes to Ghana, most of them, I'll say about 98%, first land in Accra. They will first land in Accra because our airport, our international airport is in Accra. Though we have the Prempeh airport in Kumasi, but they will all arrive in Accra. And when they arrive in Accra, there is high tendency that they will spend a night in Accra or two before they move to wherever they want to go. So that one is an advantage to Accra for that matter. So whoever lands in Accra will spend a day or two before he goes wherever he wants to go. And that is an advantage to Accra.
If you say that's an advantage, these same tourists, when they get to Accra, go to Cape Coast anyway.
Yes.
Cape Coast have an airport.
Yes. They go to Cape Coast. They go to any other part. Some come to Kumasi. But as I mentioned, Accra is an advantage because it's the first place they will land. So there is no tourist who will come to Ashanti region without first visiting Accra. They will first visit Accra before they come to Kumasi and then come and see what is in Kumasi. But now the person is in Accra. How does he move to Cape Coast or Accra or Kumasi? That's a question. Who is bringing him to Kumasi or Cape Coast? That is another question. Most tourists, and then we have what we call the tour operators and the tour guides within the system. Some of them, especially those along Accra and Cape Coast stretch, they are more familiar and comfortable within that terrain. They are more comfortable within that terrain. So there should be something that will push the tourists here. In fact, it's a competition. Each region wants tourists to come to their place. So the region has to take a pragmatic step in identifying how to push these people to market.
So if you say we should be, particular about it to push and draw people to the region, that's the Ashanti region, which of course is not being done. From where you sit and from what you know, is Ashanti's tourism problem a marketing failure, infrastructure failure, or maybe a leadership coordination failure? What is the problem? Why are people not getting to the region?
First of all, I might say it's a leadership coordinated. Because first of all, even our king, Otumfuo himself, his name is a big attraction to the region. When Otumfuo travels one to a place, wherever he goes, it attracts people to Ashanti region. And as I mentioned, tourism feeds on culture. And the whole Ghana, Ashanti region has so rich a culture that every day everybody sees this is what the people have. So as for that aspect, we are there. But now the coordination to bring the people to Ashanti region is the thing. How to coordinate and then bring those people, those tourists to Ashanti region is the problem. That is the major problem. And as you mentioned, leadership has to take a pragmatic step to coordinate well to bring these tourists in. First of all, let's look at some time past we did this blaster experience and all those things. Everything surrounding that thing had to do with leadership. They created, we are doing this here, we are doing this here, we are doing this here. Kumasi was never involved, and that was not the decision of myself or you, Dave. It's a big leadership issue to coordinate and create that atmosphere to bring the people to Ashanti region.
So before we even talk about how to do the coordination, and you also say it's a leadership issue, and therefore I would like to ask you, when you say leadership issue, who is the leader you're talking about here? Before you even answer that question, how do you feel knowing that, when someone, say, somebody sitting in New York or sitting in London searches for authentic African royal experience, Kumasi doesn't dominate the digital space? How does that make you feel? Because to my mind, looking at the culture and what we have, if you do a search, on Google, you should be able to have Ashanti popping up everywhere. Why is it not popping up? Why is it not dominating?
When you Google Ashanti, any tourist, especially in our terrain in Africa, no tourist want to come and move alone because of security issues. That tourist must liaise with. No tourist will come to Kumasi or Ashanti region or Ghana for that matter alone and be moving around. It's rare because of the security situations we have in West Africa and other places. You have to liaise with a tour company or a tour operating company. And this tour operating company will also liaise with a tour guide to bring the people. So in that channel of liaising with a tour operator, then gets to the tour guide to take him around. That's where I'm bringing the challenge to. The challenge is that when these tour operators, most of the tour operators are based in Accra. Most of them are based in Accra.
Do you have an idea why they are based in Accra and not, let's say, in Ashanti region?
Yeah, probably because we have our main international airport in Accra. They see it as and in fact, it's not wrong that they are based in Accra, because whenever they get to Accra, Accra is not the only destination for Ghana. We have other places to visit, like Ashanti region and other regions, as you mentioned. But we need to push as a region to coordinate well. We have also tour operators in Ashanti region. But I can tell you, most tour operators in Ashanti region might even take tourists to Accra and might not even come. It happens.
So MI, earlier you mentioned that we had to do some coordination to get people or tourists into the Ashanti region. You also mentioned the issue of leadership. Who is supposed to lead this, and how should the coordination be done?
Yeah, first of all, when you talk about leadership in tourism, we need that though their mandate, they are supposed to regulate activities within the tourism industry. And one person I can say is also doing very well. He's doing well, and he's really funding that.
I lost you briefly. Whom are you referring to that is doing well? MI, can you hear me? I think we need to get back MI on the line so we have a better connection to him. Because you mentioned a name that the person is doing well. I would like to know who that person is. But Lou, some of the things that MI is talking about are things that you yourself, have mentioned over the past few days. For example, you talked about the fact that it's not about the sites, but it's about what the people have to offer.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Ashanti region, for example, we have so much to offer.
So much, which makes it even more easier for people to troop here. Because when they come, they are coming to experience the culture that we have. When you compare Ghana to other tourist destinations around the world, like the Dubais and all these places, we don't compare. Here, Ghana, our main attraction is not the tourist sites. It's the vibe that you feel when you get here. That is why anytime that they drop or say, I feel at home. Wow, Ghana is peaceful. Wow, I want to live here. It's not monuments or anything, but it's just the energy that they feel around them. And we can harness it more when we add tradition and culture and, celebrations and all of those things. And for me, I think, like Emma was saying, leadership has slacked a little bit, not a little bit more, when it comes to making sure that they market these things. Because I have read about this, studied it a little, and see how it happens. We must have strong, say, private entities or even government-backed entities here, whose main job is to sell websites, Instagram, and social media pages, get pictures, and all these things that make a concerted effort to sell it.
So I'm told that he's back on the phone line. So Emma, you mentioned the name of somebody and said the person was doing well. Whom are you referring to here?
Hello, am I?
We're still having challenges. Let's go for a short break, and then when we come back, we'll fix it.
Hello.
Emma, I think it's better now. So I'm saying that you mentioned the name of a certain person, and you said the person is doing well. Who is this person you're referring to?
Wow.
The connection is bad. So we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. But things that I would like for Emma to address for us is that yes, we may have the culture. We may have all that people would want to see, but there are a few other things that comes to play. Mention can be made of 4-star, 5-star hotels. Mention can be made of sanitary conditions. Yesterday, for example, you were talking about the fact that let's look at even at some of the Trotro people and the way they are conducted. So, Emma, can you hear me now?
I can hear you better now.
Very well. So, like I was saying, you mentioned a name of somebody and said the person was.
Yes, I mentioned the regional minister, Ashanti Regional Minister. And I think for the last year or two, we saw a lot of activities. I think there was this festival, Ashanti Fest. There was one sporting event at the Ken UST, and then the other couple of activities. And he tried so much to meet other people in this regard. And I think in a long while, we've not seen a leadership initiating something like that on tourism in the region.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good start. Yeah, it's a good start, and if we build upon that. But one thing is that, you address me as a tour guide.
Yeah.
But tour guides play important role in sending tourists to wherever they have the connection. They know, they can decide. A tour operator can tell me that, I have these tourists I want to send to Cape Coast. I have the power to convince the person that, no, Ashanti region, we have this, we have that, and it's so unique. And because you are the one leading them, there's that ability for you to convince the tour operator to send them to Kumasi or wherever you want to send them. But one thing is that the tour guides are the less people to look upon when it comes to this and that. I'm not sure even anybody has met any tour guide before in Ashanti region. But when you go to Accra and you see how these tour guides are pampered, because they are the light, they know where to send you. But when it comes to conversation about tourism and meeting stakeholders, in fact, tour guides are left out.
I see. But Emma, is it also? Let me rephrase my question. Do we have a clear, tourism brand identity for Ashanti region? If yes, what is it? If not, what should it be? And I'm talking about Ashanti region, not Ghana as a whole. Do we have, a clear tourism brand identity for Ashanti?
Yes, of course. When I mentioned earlier, tourists, when they move, one important thing that brings a tourist is what is so unique about you people that I want to see. It's not what I'm seeing every day in my area. And one thing that Ashanti region is very advantageous when it comes to all the other regions is our culture. It is even our funerals and everything. David, the last 2 weeks, I had some students who came around, though they were here for academic purposes, but definitely they needed to experience our culture. We went for a funeral, and that was the best thing they've experienced ever since they came to Ghana. And these people would definitely want to bring their kids to come and experience it again.
And indeed, we have a lot of festivals, like Akwesi Day and all that. How well are we marketing them? How well are we, making them popular for people to come and see what really transpires?
Yes, that's what I mentioned. First of all, who sent the person? This key issue, we find it difficult to address. I keep on hammering that when a tourist comes to Ghana, he will never walk alone, just like Liverpool. He will need someone to guide him, to send him somewhere. But that person who is supposed to send a tourist or take him someplace, when there's a discussion about the promotion and development of tourism, that person is left out.
Yeah.
Then we look at the big people and those things, but that person, the light, the torchlight that the tourists need to light up and move out is ignored.
Emma, do you think we should leave the marketing of tourist sites or marketing Ashanti culture to the world to government, or the private sector should take over? Because I'm yet to see private entities that are very much into bringing tourists in. I don't know if there are plenty in Kumasi, but where do you think it should go?
There are few. There are few. But issue about tourism is not solely government. It includes the stakeholders. We are broad. Even Dave is a brand on his own. Him talking about culture, telling people about our Ashanti region, promoting tourism, he's doing his part. Leo, you are also doing your part. I'm also doing your part. It's not only one group of people who are supposed to do that.
It
should be all of us.
Do you think our local tourist companies or our domestic tourist people are not enlightened enough to see the potential?
Yeah, to say someone is enlightened, enlightenment is a process. You keep on doing. No matter how enlightened you are, you need to top up. There should be constant training and education, and then pushing for that thing to achieve what we want. You can't say you are enlightened, that is all. No, enlightenment is a process. You keep on enlightening yourself till you achieve whatever you want. So I won't say they are not enlightened, but we need to still keep pushing.
So the problem we find ourselves in is that other people are cashing in on monies that tourists bring into not the country alone, but to the regions. And Ashanti has what it takes to be able to also rake in so much money through tourism. Now, through tourism, jobs are created. People get to know about what you have. So, Emma, how can Ashanti reposition itself as Africa's cultural capital? What structural changes would that require? If we really want to reposition ourselves better, what do we need to really do?
Yeah, infrastructure-wise, we also need to do a lot of things. You were mentioning shows, big shows in Accra and all those things. In Kumasi, where would we have that big show where people feel so comfortable?
Indeed, we want to have events during Christmas. We always hustle. So sometimes we fall on Ratri Park.
Yes. Dave, you can fall on Ratri Park. For example, Buster Rhymes, or that you mentioned. Buster
he came to town during the Christmas festival.
Christmas. If you want to do a big show where a lot of people, Sarkodie did one recently, and you saw it was very big. And even before that program, we have to try and squeeze ourselves within the stadium because the stadium wasn't the right place for it. We have to adapt the stadium, so we have to squeeze ourselves. But Dave, let me tell you one thing. Ashanti Region, though we want more, in fact, we are doing good. The Manhyia Palace, if you look at the number of people who come to Manhyia Palace alone, David, is so big. And I think, was it last year or two, the zoo that we in Kumasi, a lot of people don't, zoo, they didn't know.
Yes, I know, man, they go.
They say zoo, didn't know. I can tell you the whole Ghana, I think zoo was the first 10. Yeah. The Kumasi, the whole Ghana, the first 10, Kumasi Zoo was part. Manhyia Palace was part. Where people visited, was it? I think it's last year. The zoo was part. But even within Kumasi, that we will sell these things. You ask a Kumasi person, I have this, why they want to come to Kumasi. Is the zoo available? You hear a typical Kumasi person who say,
but Emma, when was the last time you went to, Emma, be honest, when was the last time you went to the zoo? What animals do we have there?
Kumasi Zoo is not the zoo we used to know. I can tell you. Kumasi Zoo currently in fact, the whole of West Africa, Kumasi Zoo is the only place that we even have a clinic for animals.
So how well have we marketed and made the zoo one of the places that people would want to? I am in Kumasi. I was in Ghana. I'm in Kumasi, but had it not been for you telling me this, I didn't even know that the zoo was that vibrant.
Yeah, zoo is very vibrant. Even the zoo is very vibrant. I was there. Was the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Zoo is very vibrant. Yes.
On Friday it's a holiday. I'll go to the zoo on Friday.
Anytime I send tourists to the KJTR market, we go to the zoo too.
Now, the monkeys are healthy.
Very healthy.
How many lions do we have there?
I can't count, but we have a lot of them there.
Wow. I'll go to the zoo on Friday.
Yes, go there.
But Emma, aside from all this,
doing very well there. And as I mentioned, he alone, the authority of the zoo alone, can do their part. But we, the people, as I gave you example, someone will call, he might not even have a typical Ghana person will not go even online and check. He will just go, Dave, you are in Kumasi, right? Yes, I have some tourists and I want to bring them to the zoo. A typical Ghanaian Kumasi, zoo.
Don't say typical Ghanaian. You mentioned me. I will tell them the zoo, they say you know who.
You see?
Sana me come
go to the zoo. There are lots there to see.
But am I?
And this applies to all our facilities, the cultural center and all those things. We indigenes must also market it, help. Because in fact, if someone should come to Kumasi, a tourist, and then my mother sells water along the road, a shop along the road. When the tourist is passing and he wants to buy water, if I can go to my mother's shop, but I don't have anything to do with tourism. But my mother can get something out of it, and it will affect me.
I understand.
So when we have a lot of people here visiting our site, we the indigenous benefits.
And that is what tourism does.
That's what tourism does. We have contact. I know someone who just met a tourist. We came to Manhyia Palace, and he just saw the guy. He was a professor, and they were talking. He was just passing by. Hello. Do you know that person? The professor was able to get scholarship for that person. The person is outside study.
Wow. But
that's one benefit the person got.
But am I again? When you go to Accra, am I? They have plush hotels there. I mean, 4-star hotels, 5-star hotels, and all that. Ashanti Region, do we have 4-5-star hotels? Enough of it to accommodate these high, sophisticated, high, earners in terms of tourism. People who earn high money, they want to live and sleep well, comfortably, and all that. Do we have enough 4-star, 5-star hotels in Ashanti?
Yeah, we can have all that we want. We can have everything, but let's make use of what we have for now. Especially when we are talking of hotel facilities, I think Ashanti Region, we have one of the best facilities, some of the best facilities you can have in Ghana. They are in Ashanti Region. We have a lot, and people can visit. And then, in fact, when we look at the tourism range, the tourists that come to Ghana, those that you are classifying as the high that will sleep in these type of hotels, they are few. But majority of them are the normal standard tourists who want to see what is happening on the ground.
Some even sleep in hostels.
Yeah, some sleep in hostel. In fact, some have their tents behind them. They want to sleep anywhere. In fact, they want to be part. And we even have tourists who come. They want to sleep in our traditional compound houses and experience it.
Yeah.
So
that shouldn't be our major problem. Like we don't have 5-star, whatever star hotels, because that targets their few.
That would take me to my next question, because of what you mentioned, that they would even want to live in, let's say, Atakwame, Dine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, tourism is broad, and for tourists to say I'm going to a certain destination, it entails a lot. So even if the high spending international tourists would come, and they might not come in the large numbers because the 5-star hotels, the 4-star hotels might not be available and all that. What about other issues like sanitary conditions? Because we need to have very good sanitation, in Ghana, in Kumasi. Leo was mentioning that these guys, when they come, the whites, the expatriates, the people from the diaspora, when they come, they want to board our public transports. Yeah. So the trotros and the buses and all that. How can this person feel comfortable in that trotro and after the trip say I'm coming back?
Yeah, most often than not, we don't normally, for security reasons, we don't normally encourage that. The trotros and those things. Most tourists will either hire a vehicle,
a bus for them.
Let me tell you something that happened. Last 2 weeks, I had a group who came to Ghana, and then we met this guy. I didn't personally know him. But do you know the tourists were able to identify? They call him untapped paper. He's based in Kumasi, untapped paper.
Okay.
So when we got to Edum, then the driver said, is that not untapped paper? And these guys in the bus, they were so happy, untapped paper. And I said, what is he? And they said, untapped paper. He's a TikToker. And the guy was so nice. Whatever he was doing, joined our bus. We went to a Fifufu, we went to Manhyia Palace, we went to everywhere. And it was nice. And I said, no, this is a typical guy who is trying to promote the culture of Ashanti Region. He did it so well. So, in fact, we the persons also, indigenous also have a very huge role to play in this regard when we come to the
So talking about individuals and indigents, I mean, what do we need to do for the private sector? I mean, so what private sector incentives are needed to attract serious investor into Ashanti? Because investment is also key if we want to get it right.
Yeah, private sectors, what the important thing is they also want to make money. So I think those in charge knows what to attract them with. Sometimes acquisition of land, acquisition of elements, acquisition of materials to do those things. The state or the regional, I don't want to say the regional minister, but those in charge will know what to do to convince them. Please, Ashanti Region, we have the land here. If you have a place where there are a lot of litigation, nobody will come and invest there. Thankfully, Ashanti Region is peaceful. In fact, Ashanti Region, I would say all the things conducive. We have the culture, we have the peaceful environment, we have nice people. Just that we need a small push. And as I mentioned, we have a lot of people who come to Ashanti Region, but still we have to push and get more.
And talking about the Ashanti Region, yesterday we launched our Thought Leadership Campaign. It's a drive to ensure that the road that leads to the Lake Bosomtwe, is fixed. Now we're talking about the potential Ashanti Region has. We're talking about the rich culture Ashanti Region has. But look at the road that takes us to Lake Bosomtwe and the state it is in. What does that tell you about how serious we are in promoting tourism in this region? What does that say to you? If we're talking about if we're talking about people who come to Accra, they go to the forts and the castles in Accra. Those ones are maintained. They are maintained. Go to Cape Coast. Same things. The castles are maintained. Here we have a natural lake, the biggest in West Africa, and yet look at the road that leads to the place. Why are we not taking tourism seriously like that? I mean, it beats my mind.
Yeah, it's very good that you are drumming on that, the roads, because I don't remember the last time any of the tourists, the tour guides and other people taking anybody to Lake Bosomtwe. And the main thing they will tell you, and it's true, and you yourself, by the time you get to the Lake Bosomtwe, you'll be tired. Because the road is so terrible, and we pray that they are able to fix it, because there are a lot of things around the lake. The hiking, the environment, the culture there, the history is a whole package. But how to get there is the problem. And I think authorities, they know that it's something that is hindering tourism in the region. And I believe with this initiative you've taken, kudos to you guys. I believe they will listen and then fix it for us, and it will help all of us.
In fact, to bring the MC, whilst we're having the conversation, he called. I made him speak to Leo Stanley. We're going to arrange for him to be with us in the studios tomorrow or Thursday.
Okay, engineer,
we intend to have a town hall meeting where traditional leaders, where residents, where policymakers will all join us in one big room for us to have a conversation and get the road fixed. But, for me, tourism is not just a one-off thing.
Yeah.
It's not just an event. It should be a continuous thing.
It's a process. It goes on and on.
So what do we need to do so that we don't have people who come in and visit once, but we have tourists returning, and even not just return, but invest in the region called Ashanti Region?
We always say the best form of advertisement or marketing thing is to give the person what he really enjoys. If he feels so comfortable, if he really enjoyed, you don't need to go online and go and market. That person will market your product for you. So first of all, let's be people, understand that we are the main brand ambassadors for our tourism within the region. This is each and everyone. Imagine all the radio stations are doing what the FM is doing now. It's a major thing you people are doing, and in fact, you are doing your part. What about the others? We all need to do our part collectively to bring tourists to Ashanti Region. And I think that is what I'll say, that we all need to do our part. And maintenance, we keep on mentioning maintenance. I don't know the last time you went to the cultural center, though they are also trying to do their best, but we need huge investment and huge development in those regards to make the place so attractive for the tourists. If you don't, it will be difficult for us to have what we want.
But before you go, I mean, Emma, in all this conversation we've had, where we've talked about, you know, politicians and leaders and all, how critical is the role of traditional leaders in this conversation we're having? Because they are the seat of culture. They even understand and know the culture more than we do. So what role do you think they can also play to ensure that tourism in Ashanti region, you know, improves and becomes better than it is right now?
Yeah, this is that they are also major players when it comes to tourism. Yes, especially culture. They are the custodian of our culture. And, you know, as I said earlier on, you mentioned festivals. Most festivals within our local communities, small festivals, are spearheaded by our local authorities. And I think some of them are doing well. Some are branding themselves well. Now, if you even go to, we have what we call palace tourism, where we go to palace and learn much about those things. And now I've realized that most palaces within Ashanti Region, or Kumasi for that matter, are being rebranded. I don't know whether you've noticed that. You go to a palace and you see, wow, this is more comfortable for someone or a tourist to enter, and they are doing their best. Manhyia Palace, as for them, we can't compare them. They are doing very well with this acquisition and all those things. They are doing very well. Though they are doing very well, I will also urge them to continue doing more. In fact, and one thing too, I have to add, the traditional authority, they are very receptive when you go there. In fact, I remember some time ago, we went to Bafo Kwakesi. The Otofo Asante is to Mankwahene.
He's a very fine.
And in fact, the reception was great. He's a very, very gentleman. The reception was so good, and the guy was confused. He said, "Is he the mom king?" And I said, "No. It's not the king." And the way he received us, the way he interacted with us, it was so very nice. And I believe if we continue in that direction, I believe the traditional rulers also play their part in this.
That is Mustafa Isa Zeba. Thanks very much for your time. He's a cultural consultant and expert, a tour guide. He shared part of his morning with us here on Love in the Morning on Love 99.5. Charlie, thanks very much. Leo, what do you make of all that you've heard so far? I mean,
he's retreating a lot of things that I've been saying. Tourism is not about the monuments or the locations. It's about the culture, the people, and the experience that they get as a whole. When that thing draws them in, and then we can take them to the tourist sites. And if we can harness that, I think it will be good. For me, I think we really need to identify what we are selling to them. And in Ashanti region, it's mostly culture. So look at this. When you get to Accra, it's mostly about the nightclubs and the fancy lifestyle.
But don't forget that we have also marketed so well the forts, the castles, how the slaves were taken.
So I'm getting there. So,
right, sure.
So Accra is for that. Parties, nightclubs, restaurants, urban lifestyle. People get here. I've seen videos of some Americans saying in Ghana they can party till 7 a.m.
Oh, they say it all the time.
All the time. It's not something that they do. So Accra has been able to, cut that niche for itself. Say, this is what we give them. Now, when you go to Cape Coast, you connect them to their history of when they left here. They reconnect the castles, the forts and all of those things. So that's what
the dungeons, and when they go through, they come crying.
Exactly. Ashanti region can take up the food and culture.
It's not just about the food and culture.
Yeah.
Listen, before they ended up at the forts or the castles that they were shipped out of Ghana, they were in Ashanti region, other parts of the country.
Exactly.
The rich culture that we have here.
So when they get here,
can be exhibited.
We can teach them about the resilience.
Yes.
Of the African, the Yas and Twawa and all of these things. So look, tell them you are not just slaves. You are warriors. Powerful people. Let them connect with all facets.
When they say let them, who's going to do this? If you listen to Emma says the tour guides, it's the tour guide's responsibility, because the tourists will not come and walk alone. So the tour guides that we have, whether few or many, what do they know about the Ashanti region or the Ashanti culture?
So this is the little
what
bit
are
of
they themselves doing to bring those tourists to Kumasi?
Tour guides can do very little because these things involves a lot of investment, right? Most of our tour guides are not in that powerful position to do that. That's why we always fall on leadership and then private sector, investors to come in. When you want to create a tour company, for instance, you have to go through the legal framework, get the licenses and all of those things. I've forgotten some of them is here. You get all those ones, and then you get a representative outside. So if you want to bring people from America or Europe, anywhere in Europe, the Scandinavian country, anywhere, you are supposed to get representatives from those places, and then liaise with them. And then you cut a niche, you form something that you are selling. And in Ashanti region, if we are going to do that, what exactly are we going to sell to them? So that when they come here, we take them to Manhyia or Zoo or whatever. That is where we have.
That is what I was telling you yesterday, for example, that if we have done or if we do things right, and I'll go back to the lake side, the road leading to the lakeside is bad. But imagine that we fix the road to the lakeside, and then we have this big, they don't call it a ship, they have a name for it, I've forgotten, where you can party on that.
Like a raft sort of, where...
It's not a raft, they have a name, I've forgotten. In South Africa, they do it a lot. In America, so you have a big boat or ship, there's a live band being played on one side, there's cultural...
The ferries.
That's what I'm looking for. The ferries. So there's a live band on the right side, cultural performance on the left side. There's a bar in here somewhere. There are beddings in here somewhere. There's food being served in the rest, all on the ferry.
So, one example? How many
people want to go there?
Yeah, how many local people will move their car from Kumasi every weekend to go and party at Lake Bosomtwe?
Because the road is bad.
Exactly.
And that's why this campaign we have embarked on is important.
It's important. If they come, no more a whole do Roni or Free Kromaba. Or by Ghanaians are there partying.
What is anchors? People wear what they call fanciful clothing, color clothing, masquerade, and people travel from Italy, UK, US to come and see masquerade.
Yeah,
if we have this ferry on the lake, the biggest natural lake in West Africa, and then we market it well. I'm from MBD weekend.
So let me give you an example. When back then, about I think 6-7 years ago, when this homecoming thing did, I was part of the crew that brought Ashna Homecoming. I think that was the first one, and then the following year, every neighborhood in Kumasi started.
It caught up on them,
The main idea, this was the idea, because we realized that there wasn't any festival, like a big event where everybody is obliged to go or be prepared or be part of.
The homecoming.
Okay. Right? When it's Akosi there, it's usually just Nananom that do their thing. Some of us who live around Manhyia Palace or close to some chief or may put on our clothes and go and be part of the celebration or be part of the ceremony. And it ends there. But who say, Accra, during homo, Omode Chalawo Tebia Bebata home. Ama everybody. We don't have that here in.
Go to Kegos
Abuatre.
Everybody gets involved.
Yeah, the public is involved.
Yeah.
But here, the Akosi is usually just Nananom. So we were trying. If we could form something like this, that would be yearly. Let me cry. They are bang, saying the last Akosi of every year. Nanoma transfer in Fieno. Nanka. Kind of.
But do you know that this homecoming thing you talk about is died down?
Oh yeah, it's gone because we couldn't. We couldn't
sustain it.
We couldn't sustain it. We couldn't get the proper people to invest in it. We couldn't streamline it.
You don't give up like that.
Hey, Dave.
You look for investors. You don't give up like that, and that is why we are where we are right now.
So here,
listeners, you can join our conversation on 03220 83596 03220 83597. 03220 83598. Listen, our conversation this morning is simple. Ghana will be 69 years old on Friday, and so we term it as the Ghana month. But again, our concern and our worry is tourism fetches a lot of money, but unfortunately, tourists come to Ghana, they're basically in Accra. They are in Accra, Cape Coast, Accra, Cape Coast. We are wondering why. Well, if this is a seat of culture for Ghana or in Ghana, why are we lacking behind? We've been to, somebody sends a message actually and tells me that, I haven't been to the zoo, and that he took his family there to the zoo. He says there's about 7 lions. He says they have pythons, they have cobras, they have hyenas, they have baboons, they have chimps, they have lots of rare birds. He says yes, you have not gone there, and he says, listen, there are about 7 lions at the zoo and all that. Listen, you can also call us.
Pythons and cobras.
What else would you want to see? Hi, good morning. Lou, handed the phone lines for me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Senor, calling from Kumasi.
All right, let's hear you, Senor.
So, concerning the tourism, I've had an issue with those who sell around a Doom post office there, those who sell for the tourists. You see, sometimes you also put the tourists off. The prices of the items are just too huge. And then if we're able to regulate some of those things, you see, some of these our prints attract tourists a lot. But the cost imposed on it, I don't know if they can do something about it. It will help us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I think...
Somebody also sends a message. Do you have somebody on the line? All right, so...
someone else on. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your name, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from... I'm Abdullah Ismail. I'm calling from Hunisha.
Okay, Abdullah, let's hear you.
Yes, this tourism problem you are talking about, we have a lot of tourist centers in Kumasi here. Example, we're having one at Ejuso